So this is video 1 in the explanation of the case study that I posted called Osmosis in the Bowel. So this is what normally happens. So I'm going to go through this with you for the first video in this little series. The main thing to remember, we're looking at osmosis, is that water follows salt. And that salt just means solute. Doesn't necessarily have to be salt, just solute. Water follows salt. So when we eat, food is going to travel through the esophagus into the stomach, labeled here. I drew these little gray shapes to represent food. And that food is the same thing as solute. So those solutes will move from the stomach into the small intestine. From the small intestine, we move into the large intestine. Now we have a vast blood supply that serves, right, the small and large intestine that we're going to be transferring materials to and from, between the intestine and the blood. So as food leaves or solutes leave the stomach and enter the small intestine, because of all these little guys, all these little solid particles, that's going to make the environment inside the small intestine very hypertonic. So it's going to make it very salty, if you will. Water follows salt. So initially water, here at the number 1, water will move from the bloodstream into the small intestine, moving from high to low, just regular osmosis, moving from where it's in high concentration here in the bloodstream to low concentration here because of this high solute concentration. So water follows salt into the small intestine. Well, the objective in the small intestine is to absorb those solids, is to absorb those nutrients that we've eaten. So we're going to absorb the vitamins and the monomers and the ions that are in the food that we've eaten. We're going to absorb them from the small intestine into the bloodstream, so the blood can then carry those nutrients away to deliver them to our body's tissue cells. So as those solutes move from the small intestine into the blood, water will follow, right? Because water follows salt. So that's the second place we see the movement of water. Now, the material in the small intestine is ultimately going to enter the large intestine. That material is called chyme, and the main objective in the large intestine is to convert the chyme to feces for elimination from the body. So what will happen is we will have the more absorption of water from the large intestine into the bloodstream, again following the salt. So water will leave that chyme and enter the bloodstream, just an osmotic property, moving to where it's saltier. But the objective here is to convert the chyme to feces. So this chyme is really liquidy and really watery, but as that water leaves the chyme, it compacts it into feces. So we get those solid waste products for removal, and that occurs in the large intestine. And I'm emphasizing that so to help us answer the questions that are at the end of the case study. Okay, so then feces are eliminated from the body. So that is the major processes that occur normally in the digestive tract.